الرئيس عبد الفتاح السيسي رئيس الجمهورية القائد الأعلى للقوات المسلحة
Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces.
الشرف السلام الوطني.
The national anthem. Order of weapon.
الشرف كتفان سلع.
Honor, guard of honor, arms salute.
السلام عليكم.
May peace be upon you. Please take your seats. In the name of Allah, most merciful, most gracious, Your Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, President of the Republic, the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, esteemed presence. When nations realize that security is the main pillar on which civilizations are based, and that the power of awareness is the guard of development march, they do not wait for crises to face, but they manufacture the tools of control for the future. In Egypt, the owner of the established civilization today lays the pillars of the new republic with a vision based on planning, science, and forecast. And today, the new capital is an embodiment of this vision, combining the state institutions under one umbrella for efforts to integrate and for achievement and accomplishment to come to faster. Here it is the vision of a state that is aware of its future and owning its future for the future that is appropriate to its history and place among nations. Egypt is well aware that its nation and people is a secret for its power, contributing in its development. It has always been keen on securing its people against all risks undermining its security. We shall start our day with a gracious recitation of the Holy Quran read by Sheikh Ahmed Tamim al-Maraghi.
وكلا نقص عليك من أنباء الرسل ما نثبت به فؤادك وجاءك في هذه الحق وموعظة وذكرى للمؤمنين وقل للذين لا يؤمنون اعملوا على مكانتكم إنا عاملون وانتظروا إنا منتظرون ولله غيب السماوات والأرض وإليه يرجع الأمر كله فاعبده وتوكل عليه وما ربك بغافل عما تعملون صدق الله العظيم.
صدق الله العظيم.
Praise be to God. Your Excellency, Mr. President, esteemed presence, unifying the efforts of the state institutions is a strategic action which requires accurate planning and proactive planning based on investing all potentials and capabilities in securing the pillars of security and stability with their comprehensive concept, was the speech of His Excellency Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli. In the name of Allah, most merciful, most gracious, Your Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, President of the Republic, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, allow me at the outset of this event to extend to Your Excellency and the Egyptian people my sincere congratulations in the 13th anniversary of the 30th of June revolutions. This historic moment that was a defining moment in the history of the Egyptian state, an embodiment of the will of a great nation who believed in their homeland and got back on track, stressing to the entire world that Egypt will always remain with the will of its people, a stable, independent country capable of facing and overcoming challenges and making its own future. It's my honor to also, Your Excellency, to extend my congratulations to Your Excellency on the inauguration of the Strategic Command Headquarters. This national milestone embodying the Egyptian vision in building in integrated systems for control and operation management, reflecting the advancement of our armed forces in the fields of strategic combat, reinforcing its capabilities to safeguard the belongings of the homeland in accordance with the most advanced standards. It is only an advanced command center, but it's also a home for the Egyptian Military Academy as a pioneering model in qualifying cadres and capabilities through a scientific system that is advanced and developed, contributing to making a generation that is capable of bearing the responsibility, serving the objectives and goals of the state, building the Egyptian citizen. Your Excellency, Mr. President, the world today is witnessing accelerated variables and global challenges, as well as natural resources, among other untraditional and unconventional challenges, which imposes on us alleviating and upgrading our capabilities. Stemming from this vision, we have received your directives for all state institutions to work with one another with proactive approach based on integration and proactive actions for the state to have the capabilities to deal with different scenarios and to preserve the stability and security of the homeland, preserving the continuity of service delivery. And from this evidence, we stand today, Your Excellency, to witness together a review of the Egyptian state capabilities and potential to overcome different challenges in a living embodiment of its capabilities, to mobilize different equipment and individuals and personnel to respond to any type of crisis in complete coordination among the relevant authorities, entities, and ministries. As strong states can be measured and their readiness can be measured with their response to crisis. And here lies the importance of this establishment, the brain and mind of the state and the arm to protect it against different external and internal threats. The National Authority for Crisis Management, centered in the Strategic Command Headquarters in the Egyptian state, will have one mandate, which is ensuring the complete coordination among state institutions and facilities to face all challenges and risks. This headquarters was equipped with the most advanced technologies and the trained and qualified personnel to quickly and rapidly respond to different events and incidents. Your Excellency, at the end of my speech, allow me to give some words from the heart. I was honored at a personal level to be accompanying Your Excellency since the beginning of the establishment of this major Egyptian dream, which is the new capital of the Egyptian state, for it to be present and a start of the new republic, a title for the new state capable of coping with all the advanced variables of the world. This was a major significant dream when Your Excellency directed to start the establishment of this major project started in 2016, and today we are present in the source of pride to the Egyptian state, the Strategic Command Headquarters, and it will always be so when any president or leader of a major state, of a friendly state, comes and be astonished with what we have achieved so far, and the quick response and establishment and the efforts of the Egyptians who made this dream come true. I think this should be a source of pride to us all Egyptians, and I would like to assure everyone present here that if it weren't for your directions and your keenness and and that you were always following up with the execution and implementation of such efforts, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude for everything that you have provided for Egypt. Praise be to God, and we ask God to save Egypt and its people from anything foul. Thank you, and may peace be upon you. Your Excellency President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, President of the Republic and Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, esteemed presence, today we see some of the equipment, specialized equipment, which are the pillars of this comprehensive system to combat terrorism that these efforts get going for 10 years, as Egypt has paid the very high price with the honorable martyrs to the corona pandemic, which reflected negatively on the daily activities of the citizen. The Egyptian state was and still keen on preserving the Egyptian capabilities and workforce. It is the source of its power, as it is taking every measure to prepare for any crisis that the country might witness. And today we have a lineup in all Egyptian governorate of vehicles and equipment, which are 40% of the belongings of each governorate, reflecting the readiness of the state to protect the Egyptian people and preserve the state stability, whatever the challenge is. From the military academy, we see in front of the dais a display of the defense equipment, including some of the military vehicles that were developed and armed and equipped with the defense equipment manufactured by the armed forces factory, reflecting the advanced techniques used by Egypt and the vision to develop such equipment, coping up with the most advanced technologies used in this field in order to meet the needs of the different needs. The June 30th display is an aircraft display to respond to different crises at different strategic directions of the state. On the right and left, we can see the fighters, Rafale 1200, manufactured in the Navy Corps, in addition to the operations and missions on coastal lines and providing support to the special missions. The combat against terrorism was one of the major challenges that faced the Egyptian state, and to face such new and modern threats, law enforcement of police and military were coordinated with one another to ensure the success of the missions, on which efforts have integrated to protect the belongings of the Egyptian state, secure its national security, and to develop the technical capabilities. Now we will see the passing of a review of the equipment and vehicles used in the anti-terrorism effort. They were equipped with the most advanced technical and technological pieces. The control group from the military police with the motorcycles and the securing vehicles to organize movement, as well as the military patrols. This is in the light of the vital role played by the military police to handle different security threats and to isolate the incident area, empowering the special forces to intervene as quickly as possible in order to preserve the security of the homeland and the safety of the citizens. Breaking armors, one of the most state-of-the-art technologies in the counter-terrorism efforts. They are equipped to deal with the hard terrain and to cleanse terrorism hotspots.
ضد العبوات الناسفة المرتجلة والقذائف الصاروخية ونيران الأسلحة الصغيرة، كما يمكن استخدام
as it is
المركبات
also
في
capable of
عمليات الدعم اللوجستي.
in supporting in logistical
مركبات
operations.
القتال الخفيفة المستخدمة مع
Lightweight
القوات
vehicles
الخاصة
used
وتستخدم
by
في
the
أعمال
special
مقاومة
forces.
الإرهاب
These
والقتال
are
في
used in
المناطق
the
المبنية،
anti-terrorism
حيث
efforts
توفر
where
السرعة وخفة
they
الحركة
provide
للقوة
speed
المنفذة
and light movement
وتنفيذ
for
المهام
the
بكل
special
احترافية.
forces.
كما يمكن استخدامها
They
للقيام
can also be
بأعمال
used
الاستطلاع
in
والمراقبة
surveillance
وتقديم الدعم
operations
النيراني
and
اللازم
providing the
للقوة
fire
المنفذة.
support for the implementing force.
المركبة
Ford Patriot vehicle used in breaking into facilities, transportations and aircraft with two hydraulic equipment. They are used as a mobile control center for indirect surveillance for targets using surveillance cameras and these fighter vehicles are used in raids in coastal areas and providing fire support to the special task forces in the Navy Corps. SAND-X equipment and the 4x4 polarized vehicle individual. They are used in the counter-terrorism survey and surveillance search and rescue, dealing with explosive packages, equipment for medical security during missions, weapons used, VR 107, drone Puma system, GTAC system, electronic security surveillance equipment in order to empower and enable forces to locate the terrorist elements and to undermine their control, as well as remote explosive capabilities in order to secure the movement of the forces against terrorist groups. Science security, providing cover for the mobile network on the military bases, for the security personnel in the incident area. A transportation means with signs inside the vicinity of the incident. Architectural and engineering security, the loaders. They were used in the anti-terrorism efforts to provide full coverage. Bulldozers. They were used to open secure passages during raids and counter-terrorism efforts and operations. Explosive detectors used by military engineers to secure the movement vicinities and vital facilities. They were used during the anti-terrorism operations. The first aid vehicle used to provide first aid services on the incident scenes. And now you can see a display of a number of vehicles. They were prolonged and upgraded in order to be ready for any future missions. And in a scene embodying the vision of the state, the armed forces and the civil police are working hand in hand in order to defend the security and stability of Egypt. Symbolic vehicles for the counter-terrorism unit in the Ministry of the Interior. The women police are highly participating in these efforts, riding beach buggies used in maneuvers and narrow places for raids with many explosive packages. The Ford Bad with night vision. Panthera provided with multiple weapons and arms. Mids used for transporting forces. The Mercedes vehicle used for forces transportation. Fort Namus used and equipped for field combat. A number of forces fully equipped by the Ministry of Interior experts. The major tanker able of overcoming hard terrain. The tactical armor provided with 2 armor towers. The multi-role armor. The 2 staircase vehicle. The 4x4 vehicle used in narrow maneuvers, supported with a fire platform. The rowboat vehicle with accurate aim, used to secure the task forces. The top Jeram and Superpan vehicles. Toyota Fortuner used in hard terrain. MG vehicles carrying 2 task forces from counter-terrorism. One is a women task force used in surveillance operations. Dodge Ram used in transporting forces in agricultural areas. The Jet Wrangler used in hard terrain. The REP ranch used on coastal areas, water bodies, as well as surveillance operations. Explosive task forces on the moving vehicle to handle explosive packages.
يليها حاوية نقل العبوات المتفجرة البوتقة.
Followed by 2 fan vehicles to transport the technical team as well as the equipment, and given the capabilities of Egypt and distinguished locations as well as the expansive maritime borders, here the aircraft forces are one of the most important corps to rapidly access any place. A formation of helicopter Apaches are displayed on the screen. They had a major role eliminating terrorist hotbeds in the comprehensive operation. A formation of helicopter Mi-24, one of the most important helicopters in the world, and a symbol for aircraft power and multiple combat capabilities. A formation of armed helicopter Gazelle, which proved capacity in aircraft surveillance and cooperating with the border guards, securing the Suez Canal by surveillance, and supply of the control centers with intelligence and real-time information supporting decision-making during crisis time. Now we see a formation of tractor helicopters supported with the most advanced techniques and technologies, as it has a significant role in securing the borders and dealing with armed groups. In addition to its participation in the Right of the Martyr Haq al-Shahid operation with their accurate aim, and for the integration between the Air Force branches to work within one integrated system, the surveillance helicopters deal first and conduct first response. We see the F-16 formation Mirage 2000s and believing in the health of the Egyptian citizen as a main pillar for the comprehensive development march. The Egyptian state did not spare an effort to build a comprehensive system to combat outbreaks and pandemics. In this framework, the efforts of the state integrate together to establish a comprehensive healthcare system and to preserve the state belongings of human capital. Now we display one side of these potential and capabilities equipped to rapidly respond to the outbreaks and pandemics, ensuring readiness and quick response in order to eliminate risks and providing highest ranks of security for the Egyptian citizen. On the left of the dais, we can see the control group of the military police, the motorcycles and security vehicles on the forefront to support the state institutions during health emergencies and outbreak of pandemics, as well as participating in preventive measure executions in order to contain pandemics. Now we see before the view elite, before the dais, the desalination vehicles reinforcing the containment of outbreaks and pandemics, biological vehicles and high frequencies of small size to move in narrow spaces. The spray vehicle, one of the most advanced biological equipments used during the corona pandemic. Field biological labs are mobile labs equipped with advanced biosecurity cabins in order to achieve the highest level of biological security. And during the corona pandemic response, the armed forces has carried out wide campaigns distributing masks on citizens in public fields in different governorates in order to spread awareness and precautionary measures among society members. The biological systems equipped with the sprinkler in order to eliminate the viral threat. The biological cleansing systems, one of the main pillars of the pandemic response systems. They were relied on in the biological cleansing in different important facilities. The field isolation and quarantine hospital. On display, you can see the efforts of the Ministry of Health and Population during the corona pandemic response, coordinated with the armed forces to equip the field hospitals The phases of cooperation differ in the field of pandemic response to a high level of coordination and cooperation, providing the highest level of protection for the Egyptian citizen. Motorbikes and vehicles for the quarantine and isolation efforts, evacuation and curfew efforts, enforcement, providing traffic signs for rapid transportation and easy traffic in the vicinities of outbreaks. Mercedes van for initial handling of dangerous and hazardous substances, chemical and radioactive substances, to enforce security in the harmed areas during emergency cases
المعاونة في نشر ثقافة التباعد الاجتماعي. على مر التاريخ كانت الأزمات
Throughout histories, crises were a true test for the state capabilities in protecting their belongings and preserving the lives of the people. And that's why quick response as well as efficiency in crisis management are now main standards to evaluate, main indicators to evaluate the capabilities of the state. And that's why the Egyptian state has established the National Authority for Crisis Management as an integrated national system to coordinate the measures and procedures of all ministerial and government entities in crisis response, equipped with the security and strategic measures capable of running the state under the most stressful threats and challenges. Starts now the crisis response at a field level in accordance with the gradual hierarchy through the Defense Strategic Center, starting with the formation of motorbikes and 4x4 vehicles associated with the military police as well as the police vehicles in order to secure the incident area and to contain the traffic, as well as helping the disrupted vehicles in the harmed areas, providing safe entry and passage for ambulances and engineering elements. On display, we see the control center using different governorates for ensuring social protection in order to control the operations, working on 1,600 kilometers. On display, we see a group of vehicles with multiple rules in order to save lives as quickly as possible, equipped locally with the most advanced technologies as well as the remote sensors, qualified in accordance with the international standards for search and rescue, with 85 areas in the same time distributed on all governorates, keeping a national reserve to handle the harmed areas inside the countries and abroad. We have here the K9 for search and rescue in 10 meters under the rubble. The heavy fire engines, the Mercedes Maximatic, with 12 ton, which is a power in the against fires. One of the most advanced firefighting techniques used to fight fires in narrow areas. One of the most advanced technologies among fire engines around the world. It reaches the 35th floor, and believing that saving human life is the most important thing during incidents, we see on the display point a group of ambulances associated with the Ministry of Health and Population, equipped with the most important health equipment for search, evacuation, and providing emergency medical intervention. And it's worth mentioning that the state is keeping and maintaining a number of ambulances and equipment and medical equipment ready to be rushed to different state governorates for the longevity programs and increasing the capacity of the Ministry of Health in the Department of First Aid. Also, the armed forces is supporting the civil society with ambulances in the case of emergencies. On display, Gazelle 4x4 ambulances working with intensive care units and the capability to work in difficult terrain, and they have participated in evacuating the injured during the Daniel crisis in the friendly state of Libya. They are equipped to work under different circumstances and conditions inside the Republic and abroad. Followed by MT1 vehicle to handle the injured with special needs, from people with special needs and disabilities, equipped with wheelchairs and similar equipment. The mobile field hospitals equipped with the task forces and different medical staff personnel providing the best healthcare possible on incident scenes, preserving the lives and minimizing the casualties before cases are transported to the specialized hospitals. The armed forces has different field hospitals represented before you with vehicles carrying ready-to-use field hospitals to work 24 hours in incident scenes, providing advanced health care. Also, the catering and logistical support task forces are now on display. We can see vehicles carrying instant sheltering tools such as tents and clothing. Next to it, a food supply vehicle to help the distressed in stressed areas. And in intensifying the efforts, we can see the bread bakery moving vehicles to produce and bake 8,000 loaves of bread a day.
وتوفير الغذاء الآمن والصحي للمتضررين والعاملين بمنطقة الحدث وتتميز بإمكانية دفعها.
This vehicle is distinguished by its ability to move very quickly to the incident scene, providing food, which is an embodiment that crisis management is not only about search and rescue, but it's also about providing the basic and essential needs. The water supply vehicles in sheltered area and field kitchens, as well as the bread production lines. And in complementing this logistical operations, we have a 10-ton capacity vehicles to run engineering operations to help remove the rubble in incident areas, ensuring the continuity of essential services and supporting rescue and relief efforts. And in this framework on display, we can see the post-crisis vehicles to reconstruct the infrastructure in the incident areas. This piece of equipment is one of the main means in removing rubble. The next vehicle is one of the most advanced technologies in removing rubble, and it's used in crisis response operations. The vehicle is used in different locations to remove rubble and waste, to evacuate incident areas, and is distinguished by its ability to work under difficult conditions and maneuvers with difficult terrain. The next equipment is used in harmed areas from earthquakes. And to facilitate this, we can see the here bulldozer with 250 tons capacity, as it can reach 32 floors, and it can work in very narrow places. The next is 45-ton capacity for search and rescue and food supply. And in the framework of the coordination efforts, we can see vehicles associated with the Ministry of Local Development and the Ministry of Housing. Cars used to withdraw contaminated water in order to prevent any traffic paralysis, and it's distinguished by abilities the group of vehicles used to remove light troubles and dust on road networks.
حيث تستخدم في تطهير المواقع بإزالة وتجميع وضغط المخلفات الناتجة عن الكارثة، بما يسرع من استعادة المرافق الحيوية. مركبة مجهزة شفاط ونافوري بنظام إعادة الاستخدام، ذات القدرة على صيانة شبكات الصرف الصحي.
Emergency and crisis vehicle with the ability to withdraw the water as a result of heavy rain, followed by the rapid intervention vehicles equipped with the most advanced safety techniques and technologies. They pass with the satellite opening at the incident scene different sign channels to provide control at the state level in response to crises and emergencies inside the Republic and abroad. When the armed forces and the Ministry of Interior, the police work together, we see the best model possible. They are the shield for this homeland and the armor preserving the safety and stability of this homeland with utmost capability, and with this coordination and harmony, Egypt remains an oasis for peace and stability in spite of any challenges. The motorbikes used in opening closed roads and facilitating traffic, providing technical assistance and traffic signs. Traffic vehicles supported with technical assistance and traffic signs. The hydrochloric staircase with 64-meter height used in putting out fires in high buildings. Fire engine with 16 meters height with capability to maneuver 360 degrees, used in petroleum fires with 40-meter radius. Fire engine vehicle to put out fires at 110 meters height with 15 cubic meters of water. Field rescue vehicle used to move heavy objects. A search and rescue vehicle accredited by the United Nations Research and Rescue Facility. Bulldozer for removing obstacles by civil protection bodies. A group of water motorbikes and lanchas used in the Nile River, where it is difficult for the regular search and rescue teams to access. REB extra speed launch. Followed by airboat. A formation of helicopter Mi-17 and Chinook helicopters used to control fires and help in search and rescue operations, as well as evacuation efforts. These are distinguished by high capacities and capabilities and the quick arrival at incident scenes with hard terrain where ambulances cannot reach. They have participated in facing crises inside Egypt and abroad. A formation of helicopter Chinook and Augusta, as the air forces are facing emergency cases and conditions. A two Beechcraft aircrafts are now on display with high level capacity in different conditions. Also, formation of CASA transportation aircrafts, which is a main pillar in the Tactical Air Force Corps, where they play a vital role in facing natural crises and emergencies. Formation of transportation helicopters C-32 and CASA. And in a simulation for a search and rescue operations, we see on the left the dives, a helicopter in reaching difficult terrain. On the left and right of the dais, we have seen the Chinook helicopter landing to transport the search and rescue equipment to the difficult terrain areas. And an embodiment for the fast deployment and fast response to harmed areas. We can see now the aircrafts equipped locally with the most advanced equipment for search and rescue for the trapped under the rubble, contributing to saving more lives and minimizing human casualties. The Chinook helicopter is one of the strongest vehicles and aircrafts, as it enjoys the potential to transport equipment and individuals in difficult terrain. As the search and rescue teams detect injured people, they require the evacuation efforts by these helicopters. And now you will see the medical evacuation by helicopter أجهزة. Helicopter أجهزة 149 for medical evacuations by search and rescue task forces. Augusta are one of the most advanced helicopter aircrafts, as it is equipped with the most advanced navigation systems. And now we see the medical aerial evacuation by the search and rescue task force. And it's worth mentioning that helicopter أجهزة has participated in search and rescue efforts during the Daniel crisis in the friendly state of Libya, and upgrades the potential of the armed forces in the field of search and rescue and medical evacuations. Esteemed presence, what we have witnessed today is only one page of the National Capacities Book, and it's an overview of the Egyptian capabilities in the face of all challenges and crises. The human element remains the decisive element into employing such potential with the highest degree of professionalism to handle different risks and threats, where all the state institutions stand side by side and hand in hand in the time of emergency and crises in protecting the safety and security of the homeland. The armed forces stress that they will never spare an effort to protect the borders of the state and protecting and safeguarding its belongings and national security. Your Excellency, Mr. President, esteemed presence, here we conclude our event and we will move now to the State Coordination Center. In the name of Allah, most merciful, most gracious. At the outset, I would like to extend the greetings and appreciation to the state institutions in Egypt. As 2 days ago, we were inaugurating the new entity called the Strategic Command Headquarters, Octagon, that will be responsible for the administration of strategic commands in all over Egypt. And we said that it's not a new invention, but for countries working to organize the protection of its citizens during different crises and challenges must always work towards developing its capabilities. The civil protection personnel are present in all governorates one way or another, but it was very important for us to coordinate these efforts and have one unified central entity providing very strong support in the face of, God forbid, any crisis that might surface. What we have seen is only a sample of what we have, but here in the Strategic Command Center, each of the elements that we have seen, without any exaggerations, we have enough of it to face any crisis and more than one challenge in the same time. We have very good capabilities, and this was absolutely required. A state has a very major and significant concept. It's not only about the essential basic needs of everyday life, but there are other many measures and procedures that a state must provide for its people. And this is exactly what we have tried to do through the activities that you have seen during the inauguration or today, or what we are going to see in the future in crisis management, or a simulation of a crisis where the state institution is fully in control. I'm talking about all the relevant authorities and ministries will be present, and we will see a simulation of how the crises are handled. There are many concepts that help us prepare for crises: training, qualification, safety. Even the personnel must be qualified enough to achieve the highest degree of efficiency during execution and implementation. And that's why the state must have once or twice every year must conduct a simulation of a crisis, and this is what is conducted in advanced and developed countries. What happens in the case of an earthquake, of a fire that breaks out of nowhere? Casualties must be minimized as much as possible in such crises and emergencies. So we are working in different regards at the same time, and this requires coordination between all the state institutions and also from the Egyptian people working in different state institutions and hospitals, schools, different gatherings. that might actually go through a crisis or an emergency of any sort, they must be fully equipped and ready to overcome this crisis with less casualties. And also the state must have a role to play. This role here is foresight and prediction, forecast. And it's important for the Egyptian people to be aware of this. This is our role, and this is the media role, to highlight this important aspect. It's not only about the plans and the readiness efforts, but to have a stable life for 100 million Egyptian citizens. I don't want to take longer. We need to see the rest of the program planned ahead, but we are going to announce beforehand for the people to be aware of the advancements taking place and to interact with it positively. I must extend gratitude and appreciation to Dr. Mustafa Madbouli and to the ministries and the armed forces for the efforts extended to actually see the milestone we are witnessing today. Thank you very much.
أهلا بكم مشاهدينا في هذه التغطية الخاصة، وقد تابعنا حضور السيد الرئيس عبد الفتاح السيسي إلى العاصمة الإدارية